Welcome to the American Podcast, everyone. We have Rich and Ray. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We were kind of just hanging out, so I figured we'd just jump on a podcast and kind of just talk about some of the things we got going on. I know here for American, we are going to be doing Mental Health Mondays. Kind of mentioned it to Ray over here, and Ray actually is going through a lot of stuff and has a lot of things in play. So go ahead, Ray, kind of talk about what you got going on.
What's going on, everybody? First and foremost, my YouTube channel is going to be out there, the Kamikaze Veteran. So it's going to go over all my Mental Health Mondays thing. Hopefully, be collaborating here with you guys in the studio as well, so we can, get this out there, get this pushed out there, cause awareness for veterans struggling with mental health, suicide, anxiety, depression. How to get over that stuff. Instead of shoving pills and alcohol down your throat.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, there's definitely options. There's outlets for the VA, lots of other things, and so you kind of gonna bring that to light, right?
Yeah,
Sounds
definitely.
like.
Definitely. What I'm actually going to do, I actually broke my neck about 2 years ago, so it put me into a really, really deep depression state, struggle with suicide and things like that. But right around that time, I started, hey, my cousin's like, why don't you smoke and stuff like that? I'm like, nah, man, I've never touched a drug in my life. I was in the Marine Corps, and there's a zero tolerance policy, so I'm good.
Right.
But I mean, they're shoving drugs down your throat anyways, so why not? I'm out. I don't have the obligation to, the UCMJ anymore. So I tried it. Started experimenting with CBD as well as other strains of cannabis. So I'm going to be talking about that on Wednesdays. Really specific of what strains do what, how they react with your body as far as recovery. Does it help with anxiety, depression? Does it bring up your mood, stuff like that? So there's certain strains that are focused around certain areas which people would use medical cannabis for or CBD.
That's awesome. That's going to really help a lot of people because a lot of people will just think, I have this thing, mental health, and I'm just going to pick up weed. I mean, obviously, now with marijuana, the way it is, there's certain ones that are better for certain aspects, and so you're going to be able to bring that to light.
Exactly. Like this week, I had one strain. It's called White Buffalo. Absolutely did nothing for pain, so my neck was hurting all week. But it made me super focused. I was up. I was alert. I knew I was high, but I really didn't get like, oh my god, like I need to get to sleep. I didn't get the munchies or anything like that. I was focused. I was like, let's clean up. Let's do something. Like, let's go photograph something. Like, I'm ready to go.
Right, right.
Up and get it.
Yeah.
But I think that the most important part about your channel is that we always have a problem with veterans not wanting to express, not wanting to speak with anybody. Everything's kind of like incognito. 'Cause we still have that
Exactly.
macho stigma, that oh, we can't be weak. But the thing is, with the YouTube channel, you can just kind of incognito learn about
Yeah.
something or talk to somebody. Do it on the comments. Somebody can get back to you, and it allows that conversation.
Yeah, and like peer counseling, I think was one of the biggest help for me. When I posted my first YouTube video, like the amount of people that messaged me from like high school and further, like I haven't had any connection with them in years. Reached out. So I think it's giving me a little bit more courage as well because I'm super self conscious and I don't like putting my a lot of information out there, but I feel it's easier to open up to people I'm not visually looking at. So like YouTube gives me the perfect platform to do that. And I think it's also encouraging other people to open up and talk as well, which is good.
That's awesome. And it's not even just military people. Like you're saying, your friends, you have high school friends, family that deal with certain things. So
Exactly. And just because the channel's going to be focused around, veterans and stuff like that doesn't mean that only veterans have mental health
Right.
issues. If my channel is helping other people with depression and stuff like that, I'm taking things out of my everyday life, things that has happened to me at the VA where I have a panic attack or if I'm stressed out because I'm at the grocery store and somebody wants to pet my service dog or whatever the case is. I want to take my life experiences out there and show like, hey, there's other options of, putting pills down your throat or suicide. 22 veterans a day to the record are dying right
that
now
is
every
a
day.
crazy, crazy number.
That's a crazy number, and I think it's about to increase, right? Because I
Yeah.
think that study was like done several years ago. So when they come up with a new study, it might actually be more.
Exactly.
So
I
That
think I
is
think I was
wild.
reading something. I'm going to talk about anxiety and stress this week. As far as PTSD is concerned, 11 out of 22 veterans within that combat time frame, you know, from 2001 till it's 2000, I think 16 or something like that, is when it really started dying down, have some sort of PTSD.
That's crazy. I mean, those numbers. I mean, we're not even talking people. I mean, just that many people out of however many. That's
Yeah.
mind blowing.
I mean, the Marine
That's
Corps at the
mind-blowing.
time had what, 230,000 men strong.
Yeah, if
Right.
you do that math,
So-
whoa.
And then
you know.
the Army was doing like back-to-back 12-month deployments.
Yeah.
It was like they go home and like spend 2 weeks and then they're
Yeah.
out again. I mean, they had to cut down on that because that.
There's
man.
no mental break.
Yeah.
You know, let's say even let's say the best case situation, you know, you don't see any combat, you're in a combat related zone, but you're still stressed out 24 hours a day because
Right.
even if you don't see combat action, you're still doing, you know, convoys, you're still away from your family, you're still like something could happen, you just got lucky and nothing happened.
Yeah, and somebody was actually asking me like, what is it that causes it? I'm like, just remember, just think about every day you get up and you start walking to your car, you can get blown up.
Yeah.
I mean, every day you walk to your car, you drive to work. At any given time, you blow up. What kind of mental stress do you go through?
Or even sleeping. Imagine sleeping in the middle of nowhere and you just don't wake up.
Yeah, people can't even go camping. Like regular people, civilians cannot go camping and sleep in a weird place.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine sleeping in a war zone.
Now imagine sleeping in a war zone with 120 degrees at night in you know, a tent that's made from, you know, probably the 1950s.
Right?
You know,
Wow.
that's all added stress that nobody really seems to think. Like we're in the most miserable conditions known to man, and we're living like that for 8 months. You know, I don't know how many bottle showers I took. You know, I just poke holes in the top of a little bottle and there we go.
Wow, wow. And so just to give our people out there in YouTube world and podcast world, just a little background. I was in the Navy long time ago, 96 to 2000, and I know our man Rich over here, he is still in the military.
I'm still in the reserves.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Corpsman, right?
Yep.
Hey.
There, Corpsman work with the Marines,
There we
and
go.
then we
Hey,
got,
always respect our corpsmen. Always respect our corpsmen.
Somebody has
That's
to be
all.
handing out the crayons, you know?
Hey, it's okay. We take rides whenever we need to get somewhere. So, you know, the Navy does their job.
oh man, I love it. Every time like we have different servicemen in this place, it's always like a fun time. Like you get to do it and have fun with it, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It all comes together and we're one
for
team.
sure.
I mean,
That's
we,
so
we
cool.
understand the suck. Right, we understand the suck, and then we'll rib each other because, you know, obviously like the Air Force, like you know that one joke, the Army will stay in the barracks, the Navy will stay in the nicer barracks, and then the Air Force.
Air Force and Coast
At the
Guard are in the
Marriott.
Hamptons.
At the Marriott, yeah,
All right,
yeah.
they live in the Hamptons. You know, 4-star Marriott, continental breakfast.
Wow,
What else?
living it.
What else we got going on here? You know.
Yeah, like I'm gonna get deployed where? To England. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I'm getting deployed to Afghanistan too. Where at? I don't know. One of the hospitals out there.
Kandahar.
Oh, thanks. That's,
Yo, the Marines, they have like not the nicest duty stations. I remember I was a corpsman for a while, and I got stationed. They gave me North Carolina Camp Lejeune. I had no
That's
idea
it?
where it was, and I
That's
thought
it?
that was pretty terrible.
that was terrible.
But tell me, what's the worst one you've been to?
Oh, 29
No,
pounds,
no.
hands down.
Okay, I'll beg to differ. Hands down, Camp Lejeune or Lejeune or however you was
Camp
Oh.
Lejeune.
is horrible because I can
Okay.
do the whole dry heat, but
What,
when I'm
what swamps and sand fleas, and you get to walk around in circles. Wah. We have hills, okay,
What?
mountains that we have to
Look,
climb
I don't-
here in
look.
Camp Pendleton and stuff like that. But and then go to 29 Palms in the heat. Go to deploy, to come back to a deployment, to go back to a deployment, to come back and train for a deployment, all in the desert.
No, I'm not saying I don't like the West Coast because I'm full on West Coast Hollywood corpsman, but I hated I hated going to Camp Lejeune because that was sweat balls and you couldn't.
Well,
sleep.
yeah, the humidity is absolutely
But I
horrible.
can't stand weather. I mean, I can work. You can work at 29 Palms, but when it's
No, you cannot work in 29 Palms. No way.
How long were you stationed in 29 Palms?
5 glorious long years.
Oh, man,
Oh,
sucks to be you.
glorious.
I was just there to visit for
Oh,
tax.
see, they were there for like 3 days
In an air-conditioned
And you're a
tent.
corpsman, so you really weren't doing anything. He's over there at Camp Wilson, you know, in the PX. Man, whoa, who ate all my beef jerky? Sorry, bro, that's all we got out there other than MREs.
What's up with the smell? Oh, O3s are back.
Oh, those are the Marines that got their smallpox and they're all in quarantine.
So again, I really love the banter when it comes to the military guys, but at the end of the day, just one team. That's awesome. I don't know. I want to kind of just get back into the mental health issues.
Definitely.
As far as mental health, do you feel like the VA is providing a lot?
You know, I said this on my channel. I don't mean to bash the VA. You know, there are some great things that the VA does, but I feel that the VA loses connectivity with veterans, and kind of forces them to do things that's one that they don't want to do. And I get it, money is concerned, but you know, at the same time, I feel that they do lack in certain areas as far as getting treatment for mental health and talking to therapists and things of that nature. It took me about a solid like 3 weeks, and I had to actually call the crisis line for me to get an appointment. So you know, that's the thing, and I know that the president's been doing stuff. You know, I think it's within the next 30 days. If you don't get an appointment within 30 days or something like that, you can seek outside care. I know Obama started it, and they're trying to make modifications to it, which is good, but still, you
Need
know,
some help.
very, very, very poor ways to do
yeah.
that.
For me, I haven't really experienced any of the VA because obviously I'm still in, so I haven't had the chance to actually deal with the VA. But from a lot of my friends that have, one of the biggest problems is that whoever they're speaking to at the VA isn't technically a veteran, so they don't understand
right.
exactly what you're dealing with,
Right.
what you have dealt with. So sometimes again, it's that communication. It's like, oh, this guy just came out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
now I'm trying to tell him how it is in combat. He's never going to be able to comprehend.
And that's a good point that you touch on. You know, I'll give you guys an example. Just the other day, I actually went for my primary care doctor here in San Diego. See what I mean? It's easier for me to open up out here. I don't know why, but I go in and in California, you know, if you're a certain amount of disability, you qualify for, you know, certain things here as far as registration, handicap placard, and things like that. Like, keep in mind, my neck is broken, so it's like still broken. So I asked him and said, hey, you know, it's for my registration. I want to get one of the handicap placards. I talked to the thing, you know, pretty far. I'm not supposed to walk that much yet, blah, 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 whatever. And he just looked at me and said, oh, well, you're walking now. You look fine, so I'm not going to sign that. That's for, you know, people that need it. I was
Right.
like,
And X-rays aren't good enough, right?
yeah, you know, and so I looked at him. I was like, you didn't. My neck is broken still, and he goes, yeah, but you know, it looks like you're doing okay. So that's for people that really need it.
I love the admin is doing this. The admin is like telling
No,
you
this is
stuff.
the doctor.
This is the
This is the
doctor?
doctor. This is a PhD doctor.
Wow.
He's, you know, wants to know my problems and everything else. You know, I'm telling him about my fingers, my joints, my back, whatever. And then I said, hey, also this. And he goes, no, I'm not going to sign that. You know, obviously, I'm not going to put him on blast and names and stuff like that. But, you know, things like that.
That's
comes
gonna be
up.
frustrating.
So, but for me, my anger will kick in because, like, you know, I'm entitled to something. Like, I actually have all the qualifications for it. Why are you arguing with me? Like, you're looking at the exact same paper I'm looking at. And so what I did was I actually just got up and I walked out of the appointment. And instead of, this is where I really want to connect with veterans and say, hey, you know, there's other ways of doing things, because instead of getting mad, causing a scene, and going downstairs or whatever, I went downstairs, and I said, hey, you know, I need to talk to somebody about getting another primary care. You know, I'm already there. Why am I going to go home, be mad, drive all the way back to Mission Valley and do it, call on the phone, get even madder? No. Calm down, took the time, you know, to just de-stress a little bit. And I went back upstairs, you know, just went in there with the problem. At this point, like, my hands are shaking and my breathing is actually starting to get, like, really hard. I'm obviously having an anxiety attack without knowing it because I'm so mad and just wanting to get everything going. They noticed it. But long story short, I was able to talk to the head nurse practitioner, let them know exactly what happened. And within 2 days, you know, I had another primary care with a doctor that was and has been in combat and is a veteran and things of that nature. So like I said, there's bad, but there's also good that the VA does, and they see problems and it gets handled quickly. But these are some things that cause that high stress and things like that for veterans
Right.
within the administration.
Right. I gotta imagine things are gonna get better and not go the other way. Just because I just remember 10 years ago,
Yeah.
it was so hard to even get an appointment.
Oh, yeah.
At this point. So now, I mean, seeing the VA, seeing all the things, all the programs they have in place, I feel like they're doing some, but definitely there's probably a lot of things that could be better.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that there's always going to be something to be better. Technology is always growing, and they could, come up with new ways or whatever the case is. But it's got to get somewhat better than it is now.
Right.
And also, military medicine has evolved since then too. It was for a while they weren't recognizing, not necessarily PTSD, but head trauma.
No, TBI.
TBI was not necessarily recognized, and all of a sudden, that's why then you had a huge backlog at the back end of all these tests that needed to be run. But now, if you get blown, if something blows up within a certain radius from you, you're gonna get checked.
Oh yeah.
And then at that point, it now there's a continuum of care.
Yeah, because that blast radius.
Yeah, so it's much easier for you to now to file your claim rather than, now you have to go through this whole thing with the psych and then the explaining what you're feeling. It's like it's all right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, one good thing is everything's online now. I do like My Healthy Vet. I can talk to my doctor and email them in real time, usually within a day or two. So that's one good thing that I do like about them as well.
That's awesome. Well, I'm just gonna wrap this up because I don't want to give up too much because I know we're doing Mental Health Mondays. Your Mental Health Mondays is popping off already. So I appreciate it. Rich, where can our folks find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Rich Benares,
There you go.
and that's pretty much it. I don't really do a lot of military stuff because
He's still in.
I'm still in, so there's not much that I can actually do or say.
Right. Locked down.
But but obviously that's also part of my security. Like you just don't want to give away too much stuff because you don't never know who's watching.
Yeah, for sure.
But now they're gonna watch this and gonna keep up with us.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it is what it is. But yeah, you can find me. I'm on the lighter side of YouTube, obviously, but I still, support the veterans. I still support his channel.
Lighter side is not talking about his height.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
I
dun.
said lighter side, not slighter side.
Wow.
Oh, we gotta clarify. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ray, again, where can they find you?
I'm on YouTube, the Kamikaze Veteran. Instagram will be coming up later. I'm just slowly starting to get in there. My personal Instagram is Ray_Gonzalez87. My photography is rawshots_RG. So I'm gonna have plenty of stuff up and just go from there.
Yeah, it's cool. I know you're doing some of your mental health Mondays along with the photography, and I'll let them check out your site. But it's real cool how you're incorporating the two. But anyway, thank you guys for being part of the American Podcast, and we will see you next time.
Anchors
See you guys
away,
later.
my boy. Anchors away.